I had just returned home with my father after one of his grueling hospital procedures. It had been a long and exhausting day, and he was visibly drained. For months, he had been in and out of different treatments, each one leaving him weaker than before. Just a short ride home had taken a toll on him. His face was pale, his hands trembled slightly, and his breathing was slow and labored. My only concern in that moment was getting him inside, settled, and comfortable so he could rest. But, as if the universe had a personal vendetta against me, or rather, our insufferable HOA president did, that simple goal was about to be obliterated. As soon as I pulled into the driveway, I caught sight of her, Karen, standing there like some self-appointed neighborhood warden, arms crossed tightly over her chest, her lips twisted into that signature smug grin that always made my stomach churn. Even before she opened her mouth, a familiar sense of dread washed over me. This wasn't going to be good. I had no idea that this moment would be the start of a downward spiral that would turn an already bad day into an absolute nightmare, all thanks to this relentless woman. But before we dive into the madness, drop a comment below letting me know which city you're watching from. And if you enjoy these crazy stories, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Now, let's jump in and see exactly how Karen turned one exhausting day into complete chaos. We had barely stepped out of the car when she pounced. I had just finished unlocking my father's wheelchair from the back seat, my own shoulders already aching from the stress of the day, when her sharp, authoritative voice sliced through the air. "That vehicle is in violation of HOA regulations," she announced, her tone dripping with self-importance, as if she were a judge delivering a final verdict. I let out a slow, steady breath, already fighting the urge to roll my eyes. "Karen," I said, keeping my voice as neutral as possible, "I've told you before, it's not a commercial vehicle. It's a regular black sedan. My father's in a wheelchair, and we need easy access to the house." She responded with a self-satisfied shake of her head and, as if on cue, pulled out her ever-present laminated HOA rulebook. "It sure looks commercial to me," she said, tapping an underlined section. "Vehicles used for business, deliveries, or any non-residential purpose are subject to immediate removal." My father, still leaning against the car for support, gave her a weary, confused look. He was too tired to engage in this nonsense, but that didn't matter to Karen. She had a rule to enforce, and nothing, not basic human decency, not empathy, not common sense, was going to stand in her way. "Karen, we literally just got home from his medical procedure," I said, my voice caught between frustration and desperation. "Can we please handle this later?" She tapped a finger against her rulebook, completely unfazed. "No can do. You're on the clock. Tow truck's already on its way." My stomach dropped. My heart thudded painfully in my chest. She had already called a tow truck, without even giving me a chance to move the car? My father's face fell. "Son, if it's going to cause problems, maybe I can manage a few extra feet," he murmured weakly. But we both knew the truth. He could barely stand without his wheelchair, let alone walk to the house without it. I clenched my jaw. Karen has no right to do this. Then, as if the universe wanted to prove how much worse things could get, the deep rumble of a heavy engine filled the air. I turned my head just in time to see a massive tow truck rolling slowly down our street, its bright hazard lights flashing like a warning sign of impending doom. My father let out a weary sigh. Not this again. The truck came to a stop, and a burly driver hopped out, clipboard in hand, looking completely indifferent. Just another job to him, another car to haul away. He barely glanced in my direction before addressing Karen first, as if she were his boss. "Which one, ma'am?" Karen smirked, savoring every second of her power trip. She raised her arm in an exaggerated flourish, like she was sentencing someone to exile. "That one," she said, pointing directly at my car. "It's got to go." I stepped forward, my jaw tightening. "You're making a mistake." The tow truck driver finally looked at me, his pen hovering over his paperwork. "You the owner?" I took a deep breath, forcing my anger down. "Technically, no. It belongs to my wife." Karen let out a dramatic scoff, rolling her eyes so hard I was surprised she didn't give herself whiplash. "Oh, please, don't start with excuses. You're the one parking it, So it's fair game. I exhaled slowly, my patience wearing thin. Karen, do you recall me telling you multiple times that my wife is an undercover officer? The tow truck driver frowned. Wait, what? Karen's smug grin faltered, just slightly, but she recovered fast. There are no cops in this neighborhood, she snapped. That's ridiculous. You're lying to get around the bylaws. I took a deliberate step toward her. Think very, very carefully about what you're saying right now, Karen, because you're about to cross a line you don't want to cross. She scoffed again, but I could see it. The flicker of doubt in her eyes. Oh, give me a break. If that's a police vehicle, where's the proof? No badges, no logos, no sirens. Just a car. And in this neighborhood, the rules apply to everyone. The tow truck driver hesitated, shifting uncomfortably. If it's an official vehicle, I can't tow it. That's a serious legal issue. Karen rounded on him, her voice shrill. I told you it's not a police car. He's bluffing. Hook it up already. The driver frowned. Lady, if it's really government issued, I'm not getting sued because of your HOA drama. And then, like a perfectly timed miracle, my wife's personal car rolled into the driveway. Karen turned, jabbing a finger toward my wife. Oh, look who finally decided to show up. I was just telling your husband here that he's breaking HOA rules and lying through his teeth. Without a word, my wife reached into her back pocket, pulled out a leather wallet, and flipped it open. The police badge gleamed under the afternoon sun. Karen's face drained of all color. The tow truck driver stiffened. A few neighbors who had gathered let out low gasps. I crossed my arms. Still think we're lying, Karen? Karen's mouth opened, then shut, then opened again. For once in her life, she had nothing to say, and that was just the beginning of her downfall. Wait for part 2.